Here we are. Pismo Beach and all the clams we can eat. Assuming you have some sort of, seafood allergy that prevents you from eating clams, because there's no clams here. Instead, hello everyone. My name is Mr. Madoy. I am a forensic scientist from the world of mysteries. And this is the Somnium Files. Last time we streamed this, we left off with the flowchart looking like this. Some sort of arcane symbol from a cheap alien conlang. Symbolizes that we have finished almost all of the game. All we have left are this branch, Jutai, and this branch, Jinai. Both of which have been locked behind progress gates on other fields for the entire playthrough up to this point. Which I can only assume means they have some real important stuff to tell us. Now, in Kotaro Uchikoshi's previous games, when you did get to the point where you started to unlock routes that had previously been blocked off to you, it meant the game was basically done. And we can all see there's not a whole lot of territory left on the flowchart here left. So before we begin, I want to take this moment to just review what we already know and see if we can't actually make some proper predictions. See if this is actually a mystery game or not. So the most compelling actual physical evidence we have points to different suspects in each case. When Shoko was killed, the culprit moved her body using Renju's car. And afterwards, I believe it was over here in the Syokuzai roots, we found her eye in Renju's stomach. However, afterwards, Renju was killed. And according to the weight records on the elevator, the culprit should have been the same weight as Iris Sagan. In addition, Iris behaved incredibly suspiciously only on the route where Renju died. And when we synced with her, we saw a lot of information on the previous Somnium Cyclops killer cases. Then Iris was de-eyed and taken to the cold storage warehouse by somebody with the exact same blood as Sejima, who did in fact try to kill us when we went to investigate. But in the routes where we don't arrest him, Sejima in turn turns up dead at the hands of Boss, who is nice enough to just directly confess, you know? Meanwhile, on the entire right half of the flowchart, where Renju does not die, is caught up in a car accident, he proceeds to attempt to kill Iris. So it seems pretty well beyond question at this point. And every case in this game has a different culprit despite following the same MO. And Nana, you have been banging the drum this whole playthrough about, the satanic cult and human sacrifices, and I don't accept that. I refuse on principle to accept that as a conclusion. So instead, I began to theorize something that sounds a fair bit sillier, but is only making more and more sense as we go through. What if the culprit, and I do have a bit of an unfair advantage here, because I've played Zero Escape, I've played Infinity, I know that Kotaro Uchikoshi always writes sci-fi, even when it looks like he's not. Including his work on Pepsi Man, one of the greatest sci-fi epics of our generation. But I began to theorize the culprit could swap bodies with their victims, going from Renju to Iris to Sejima to Boss. Always swapping from the previous culprits to the person who kills them. And that did actually start to line up as we got more and more information. There are two things that really clinch it for me. Number one was somewhere over here on the right half of the board, I don't remember where. The one where we talked to that taxi driver, he told us that after Iris was quote-unquote kidnapped and Oda gave him that follow that car order, the culprit who had Iris with them, assuming it was even a different person, went to these places in this order. Congressman Sejima's home, then the Kabasaki district, then the warehouse. And that's very interesting because of what we found over on Psynchin in the Main 2 and Kekai. Because in that one, we found out that the stolen prototype sync machine was in the Kawasaki district. And also, that because it is a prototype, you have to physically remove the subject's eye in order to use it. Which would answer one of the questions I'd been having. Why did the culprit continue to remove people's eyes? When Rohan Kumakura, the part of the murder duo who actually had the thing about eyes, is long dead. The other big remaining question we have is the identity of what we're going to pick up on as soon as we go in here, on the Jitai route. The identity of the frozen corpse of Iris that it continues to manifest and de-manifest, completely independent of whether the real Iris is alive or not. Now, obviously, the fact that we've seen that body when Iris is not dead, coupled with the fact that we're only allowed, just by virtue of good taste, one sci-fi gimmick per game, means that obviously that body cannot belong to the real Iris. I'm less certain, like, I could argue with evidence of the answer to this one, but the theory I've drawn up is that given the multiple connections we've seen between Iris or someone who looks like Iris and Sejima across multiple different Somniums, Mizukis, and we are presuming the culprit in Iris's body, that mayhaps Iris and Congressman Sejima are father and daughter. And given that that isn't public knowledge, likely not legitimately. If that's the case, then it would be completely in character for Sejima to have stabbed Iris's mother in the back and hidden her body in, say, for instance, a cold storage warehouse, an abandoned cold storage warehouse. considering that we know Date's current body, thanks to the culprit in Iris's Somnium, is Date's current body, their knowledge of, Congressman Sejima and the Sagan family's relationships. And there's a third thing. What is it? Come on, brain, work with me. Just the fact that he's missing. Plus the fact that I assume this is his doing, considering that he ganked the machine and he's been using the machine the whole time. I think Date's current body, which was the first Cyclops killer before he started squatting there, is Congressman Sejima's son. That's where I was going with that. Original Date is who I think is doing all the killings. Yeah. Because he's gotta take the peels now. What's the question in that case is, who is original Date? Or rather, who is new Date? Who is new Date with 0 sugar? And I'm not really sure. But I guess we'll just have to start kicking. Anyway, that killed 15 minutes of stream time. Alright, let's go. Day 5. Tuesday. It is in fact Tuesday. Man, what a week. Date, it is only Tuesday. Alright, I really hope this is where I said it was when I was doing that recap earlier, otherwise I'm gonna feel very silly. Wow. 9:59 a.m. Game, are you doing alright? Can I, okay. Okay, there you are. Man.
Have you settled down?
The audio was very low. Hold on a moment.
The scene is being inspected without you.
Date, you're gonna miss the big we found another murder victim party. Sad thing is today's Date's birthday and he's completely forgotten.
This time the body didn't disappear. However, you lost consciousness. I didn't expect you to faint.
Date truly does have the heart of a delicate maiden. A delicate, incredibly horny maiden.
Seeing that corpse must have been incredibly shocking.
I mean, it would be a bit weirder if it wasn't, you know?
I did not predict you to be the fainting type. I suppose humans are unpredictable.
So wait, which one is this, the one that we're picking up from? This is the one where we follow the left branch where Renju gets in the car accident and does not kill Iris. It does not swap into Iris and kill the Renju body. We follow that route up until Iris' Somnium. Then we say, no, I don't believe in Nizet laws, that's really silly. So she's like, I'm gonna run away with the person I trust the most. 'Cause you don't believe me and I have a brain tumor. And then we find the frozen corpse inside the warehouse. That's where we are right now. Did I say left branch? This is the right branch. I mean, branching timelines are relative. There is no up, there is no down, but we gotta make sure we're all on the same page in this rate, if nothing else.
You are conscious, are you not? Are you at a loss for words?
I believe Kana, my daughter, is fucking dead.
Date, don't let negative thoughts consume you.
Okay, good
Thinking that
talk.
Iris died because of me.
I appreciate that whenever Aiba has to do an impression of anybody, she can't really pull it off, so all of her impressions just kinda sound like this. Yeah, that's what you sound like. Oh, it's all my fault this innocent girl was murdered. Wah, your names.
If I never took her to Ota's, this wouldn't have happened.
That's you, that's what you sound like.
If you truly believe that, then your brain is completely rotten. Or perhaps when you saw the corpse, your head became filled with images of blooming yellow dandelions.
I believe Aiba seriously just went, you have depression? No? Do you have depression? Well, stop.
What?
Oh, you're talking now. Was I correct? If you consider the situation logically, even an elementary school student would understand.
Huh?
Yes, elementary school students famous for being right and sensible about things.
Fine. Allow me to pluck some of those dandelions from your mind. I will ask 3 questions. Please answer honestly.
What is your name? What is your quest? What is the unladen velocity of a swallow? Conan's right and sensible. Conan's 17, that's not the same thing. Or maybe he's however old Arnold Schwarzenegger is right now, I don't know. Maybe we're talking about that, Conan. Maybe those are the 3 questions. Maybe the 3 questions are, what is best in life? No, wait, that's 1 question. It just has 3 answers. To crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of the women.
The cold storage warehouse was not in regular operation. But even so, the AC was on, and a minus 58-degree temperature was maintained.
My god, that's 58 degrees below the freezing point.
Why is that?
Dark blue ocean spreads out before me. You know, it looks less like water and more like... I don't know. Really dirty molasses going downhill or something. Going down a very gradual incline. Ice cream?
Oh, I see you are back to making jokes.
Did somebody say ice cream?
I am glad to hear that, but please stay focused.
You know what else is shiny?
To preserve something.
Yes. Let us move on to the next question. Second
That'll
question.
work on your posture.
There was something strange about the corpse. Do you remember what that was?
I mean, I think all of these things are strange from the perspective of someone trying to get away with a homicide, but... the right eye sticks out to me.
That is a unique factor. But there was something else. Something more peculiar.
It was completely frozen.
Iris's body was completely frozen. The temperature read negative 58. With Iris's weight... Just wondering, but how much do you weigh?
Don't you know it's rude to ask a lady that?
105 pounds.
I see. 105, huh?
Does that include the weight of the
Should have
tumor,
taken
I
about
wonder?
18 hours to freeze solid. But we were...
Wait a moment. Before you draw your conclusion, allow me to ask my final question.
Okay, we brought this up when we saw the corpse earlier too, but since everybody just arbitrarily decided that Kaname Date has hallucinations today, we didn't bring it up. As I was saying, this cannot be Iris's corpse in either of the cases we saw it, because she would have had to have been dead longer than the time it would have taken the corpse to freeze. Or rather, we know she was alive and not being frozen before the time it would have taken for them to shove the corpse in the freezer. Okay,
Question
okay.
3. 2 days ago, Sunday night, you found a dead body in the cold storage warehouse.
Yes, I know, I was there at the time.
But afterward, you visited the Sagan household and discovered that Iris was in fact still alive. Why?
You don't mean... Masaka...
You mean...
Bakana!
You've got it.
I mean, does he? Like, you don't know that, Iba. There were a lot of options there, and he objectively did not pick any of them. That's not the same thing. I built it into the warehouse like I was shot out of a gun. Reeking of smoke and slightly singed. And suffering from severe deformation. And covered in striation marks. And spinning rapidly through the air. Girl, you gotta get some blood back in you. You are looking pale.
I don't believe it.
The stomach is swollen slightly. She appears to have been pregnant.
I'm fairly certain that doesn't apply to Iris.
How?
Do not worry. The uterus does not contain a fetus.
You mean after she was killed?
No. The fetus was not present in her body when she was killed. She must have been killed after giving birth. The distended stomach does not immediately shrink after birth.
I wouldn't know. I can't say I've ever been pregnant.
The expanded uterus takes some time to return to its normal size. This evidence makes one thing perfectly obvious.
This corpse isn't Iris.
Just looks conveniently like Iris if you don't look at the face due to clever camera angles. Ingenious.
It's someone else.
Which means...
Iris is still alive.
not necessarily.
Alright, yeah, don't get ahead of yourself. You're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
She could be alive. We haven't confirmed that yet.
Shit.
Multiple stab wounds with a single-edged, sharp object to the victim's back.
I could have also checked for brain tumors, but sure. But you see, Nana, this is new information. It's going to come up later. Also, can we check for brain tumors? I mean, that didn't... we've x-rayed the real living, breathing ASET multiple times, and Iba hasn't brought that up. I'm not sure why we wouldn't be able to see it, seeing as how we were able to see Mayumi's, dementia, but I don't know, maybe it's a much smaller distinction. Brain tumor wouldn't have to be that large to cause some serious damage.
Judging by the size and shape of the marks, the weapon was most likely a kitchen knife.
I'd have to do an MRI scan, but I think Iba can do that. What can Iba not do at this point? Like, I've been bringing this up multiple times over stream, but Iba is extremely OP, to the point where I feel like it kinda cheapens the game. Like, we never draw a lot. Like, we very rarely, let's not exaggerate, but we very rarely feel like we're actually drawing conclusions from evidence or doing proper investigations. Most of the progress we made in the investigation is just Aiba cutting in the middle of a sentence to announce that either she's hacked into the medical records, or she's hacked into the security cameras, or she's used her X-ray vision to look in the safe, and then either that gives us information we don't really have any fair legal way of getting, or it gives us information we can use to blackmail someone else and just telling us everything they know. Like the fact that they watch VTubers. Which is, of course, worse than being a Yakuza. And imagine watching VTubers. Super cringe.
This matches what you said on
Yeah.
Sunday.
So this is the body I saw then.
Alright, they're just laying this right out on the table. But you know, don't like make us deduce anything about it. That would have given me a feeling of accomplishment about all this.
Is there an estimated time of death?
Impossible to determine.
This thing's been on ice for... If I'm right, and at this point I'm pretty sure I am, multiple years at this point.
This body has been completely frozen for at least 10 years.
Okay, that helps.
10 years? She was killed more than 10 years ago?
Exactly. Her identity is unknown. Her killer is also unknown.
Was there anything that isn't unknown, or are you just gonna stand here reiterating details? There's a stand-in fee, you know. You're inside my eyeball, you can't be in this, like, slightly unfolded form. It is very painful.
But there is one likely suspect.
Who?
Let's consider the clues.
Alright.
The scene. Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse.
A place that may or may not be related to Renju, depending on what direction the game feels like red herringing us at this moment.
Sunday night, we saw So here.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something else about So Sejima.
We've seen him in a Somnium involving Iris, though I don't know if we know that on this route yet. It's been so long since the last I've seen my
We
son
witnessed
lost to
someone
this
similar to
monster.
Iris being stabbed repeatedly in So's Somnium.
But it wasn't Iris. It was this woman.
And very similar fashion senses for being more than 10 years apart. They even had the same cat ear headphones and everything.
That is highly likely.
What we saw was So's memory from more than 10 years ago.
I believe that is the case.
Okay, things are beginning to line up.
Renju and So?
Can't believe those two are connected in some way. It's an extremely efficient cast.
But we still do not know where Renju is.
That means that we need to talk to.
So Sejima.
Because he's been so useful and willing to play ball up till this point. Don't really have any evidence on him. I wonder if there's any way we can actually get him to spill the beans. Doesn't seem like a particularly accommodating sort. A pitiful corpse. Looking at her makes my chest hurt. I mean, that might have just been the chili you had last night, Date, like... See, I told you. I told you. Not to go eating that heavy a meal that late, but does anyone listen to me? No. I know you have to go talk to Sejima. We didn't get to see the car, but we got it in spirit. Alright, it's a minute after high noon, time for the showdown. Mizuki and Ota kept searching for Iris. Unfortunately, I didn't turn up anything. Iris's whereabouts are still unknown. I'm worried about her, but without any leads, we'd just be looking for her blindly. I should focus on the investigation for now. It will eventually lead me to Iris. I'm sure of it. That in mind, I headed to So's mansion. So, I wonder what we'll find there. There's so many possible ways this scene could go. If I asked him to sew my button back on after I lost it, do you think he would?
I thought I told you.
Bro, don't you have to, like, work for a living? Every time we come out here, you're just out here feeding your birds.
Never to show your face here again.
A pond. Oh yes, it is. Topiary. Oh yes, it is. Sejima residence. Oh yes, it is. A garden lantern. Oh yes, it is. A garden stone. Oh yes, it is. So is feeding the koi in the pond as usual. Oh yes, he is.
I didn't come here for Shoko today. I didn't come here for Iris either.
And I look at him, and he looks at me.
Instead, I'm here for a girl who looks like Iris. Did you kill her?
Date, look.
I knew it.
Man, all this evidence, and yet we can't present any of it in court because it's super fucking illegal.
You killed her, didn't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I've had enough of your shit, Congressman.
Nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
You wanted to check on the body of the girl you killed. That's why you were at the cold storage warehouse 2 days ago. Where is Renju Okiura? You know where he is, don't you? You were at an Okiura fishery warehouse for a reason. There's definitely a connection between you two. And that's not all.
Order now, and we'll double your Sagan corpses absolutely free.
Number 89 called your secretary. The same number 89 that Renju escaped with. Now tell me, where is Renju?
Suddenly, nothing happened. Suddenly, a gang of bodyguards stormed out of the mansion. Oh boy, these guys again. In an instant, they surrounded me. Okay, everybody get your porno mags out.
We'd like to ask you to please leave.
Man, that guy's really short. It's nice of them to not show prejudice in their hiring practices, though. That's awful progressive of them. That felt like it didn't accomplish all that much.
Damn it, So!
There's nothing we can do. We did arrive without a warrant.
Yeah, that feels like a mistake.
We were technically trespassing.
Didn't feel like it would have been that complicated to at least ask.
If he had called the police, we would be in a predicament.
But we are the police. But Doctor, I am the police. Audience laughs. We're all on snare drum. Close curtain.
We would have been detained immediately. Who would look after Iris then? Do you intend to leave your responsibility with Mizuki and Ota?
That feels like the worst possible duo you could possibly trust with a child. Even an 18-year-old one.
Calm down, Date. We still have our lead.
Lead?
Before I explain, we need to discuss the corpse in the cold storage warehouse. Let's give her a name. Because she is frozen solid, we could call her All Ice or Alice. What do you think?
No, that caused too much confusion.
Alice and Iris. I believe it fits nicely.
Alright, Alice. What about her?
Someone might be able to identify her.
Who?
Come on,
Allow
Date,
me
you
to
were
ask
there at the
3
time.
questions.
Again with this?
First question.
Alright, yep, it's Mizuki, I know, we saw her in the Somnium, I know, I was
You've
there
seen
at the
this corpse
time.
more than twice. 3 times, in fact. When was the first time?
Alright. Saturday night?
3 days ago. Saturday night when I synced at Abyss.
Yeah, it was the one that was furthest away, because it was the first thing that happened in the game.
Yes, in the Somnium world. We saw the frozen corpse of a girl. Question 2. Who is the girl?
Alright. Well, there's only so many frozen corpses we could find out there. But before anything else, I have to make a joke. Adrian!
Adrian? Adrian!
God damn it. See, that's the joke I was gonna go for, but the fact that this game was able to come up with it makes me think it was probably way below my pay grade. Now I just feel stupid.
No, of course not.
Now I know. That girl was probably Alice.
Most likely, yes. So we have technically known Alice for 3 days.
I've only known Alice for 3 days, but if anything ever happens to her... Wait.
One last thing. The final question.
Insert a math problem that has the answer of 42
In
here.
which Somnium did we see Alice?
Wow, it's a veritable memory game over here.
My roommate, Mizuki Okiura.
Stop calling her your roommate, she's 12.
Exactly. You mentioned something about Mizuki's Somnium being some kind of prophecy. But prophecies are nonsense.
Now that we've finished this plot thread, you're going to just accept this without question, aren't you?
Dreams are not made of the future. They are made from the past.
Somewhere the entire Straw Hat crew just felt a shiver go up their spines.
Therefore,
Mizuki has seen Alice before.
there is no other explanation.
Aiba, where's Mizuki now?
Where we went with Iris yesterday, the Kume Shrine.
Alright. Man, what an efficiently laid out city. There's only like 3 places in the whole town.
The shrine? Why would she be there?
Unknown. She is supposed to be looking for Iris.
I guess we all get lazy sometimes.
Okay, let's go.
Gas, 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 we gotta step on the gas. I know, you know. Do you know? Because I don't. Man, that talk took 2.5 hours.
Date,
Did you find Iris?
if I did, I would have told you already.
Right.
Right, yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, that was dumb of me. You swept that bang back, she would have a massive forehead.
Iris used to like this shrine. She told me about all her memories here. We used to come here all the time. You know those steps in the front?
Yes, you know, those stairs, that unique and unprecedented invention.
We would sit there together and talk about things. Like what gluten-free means, and eyelash extensions, and aerial yoga.
You know, the things kids these days are into.
And we would talk about all our problems together. Sometimes we would talk late into the night. So I thought that maybe she'd be here. But it looks like I was wrong.
Righto to get off
I
to,
think
that
he's searching
scamp.
Akihabara right now.
Really, Oda? Really?
Last time he checked in, he said he didn't have anything.
I think Iris is with Renju.
With Daddy?
Yeah. Her note mentioned her most trusted person. That's probably Renju.
Yeah. I remember that mermaid girl saying something like that.
What? Alright. Computer. Enhance. Enhance. And
He was
good
looking for Iris.
Lord. These loading times. Lord above, at least in Sonic 06 you have to play some stages occasionally.
Does that mean that Daddy is the one who called for Iris?
It could be. So I need to know where he is.
But I haven't been able to get a hold of him.
Alright,
Mizuki, I have something very important to ask you.
I kind of put it off for a bit and we're losing valuable time, I'm sorry. I told Mizuki about the frozen corpse we called Alice.
You've seen her before, haven't you?
Mwah.
3 days ago, I saw her in your Somnium. The body of a girl who looks like Iris, Alice. Your dreams are built from your memories. So that corpse...
Hold up, I wanna wait until this pans over again. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 stab wounds to the back exactly, if I counted correctly. 9, 10, yes. And Tsujima really went to town on the poor girl. Seems like a lazy bitch, but he can
Mizuki,
move when he wants
please
to.
answer me.
Yes, he doesn't want to.
Iris's life is at stake.
Huh? What do you mean?
I told Mizuki everything. I told her about my job. I told her about Boss. I told her about Pewter. I told her about Somniums. I told her about Congressman Tsujima and his relation to all this. I told her why kids love the great taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I told her why hot dogs come in packs of 10 even though hot dog buns only come in packs of 8. I told her why we park at a driveway and drive on a parkway. I told her who shot JFK, which is weird because I hadn't even known that when I started this conversation. About how Renji ran off with the assassin number 89. How number 89 is connected to Sosajima. and that Sejima is linked to Alice's murder.
I need to know everything about Alice. If I find out who she is, I might be able to solve the mystery of Renju and number 89. And that might lead me to Iris.
Mizzy looked down at her feet quietly. I could see agony in her face. The silence lingered. Finally, she steeled herself, lifted her head, and spoke.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll tell you about Alice.
Alright. About Alice.
It was about a month ago. I saw my daddy crying in the president's office at Lemniscate. I was peeking through a crack in the door so he didn't see me. Daddy got up, then got into his car and drove away. I'd never seen him like that before. I was curious, so I followed him in a taxi.
As a 12-year-old, I naturally carry taxi fees with me at all time.
That led me to the cold storage warehouse. He got out
Renju
of
went
his
to the
car and
cold
went
storage
inside.
warehouse, and I'm presuming, given where the story is going, looked at the body, so he must have already known.
I followed right behind him, quietly. Daddy was standing next to the forklift in the back.
I'm presuming nobody tried to kill him with the forklift. Hooray!
I hid behind a shelf. I watched Daddy open the hood of the forklift. And then, after a little bit, he left. I wanted to know what he was looking at. I went over to the forklift and I looked under the hood myself.
It had a very powerful engine for such a comparatively humble piece of machinery.
And then,
Also, there was a dead chick.
You saw Alice's dead body.
but at the time, I thought it was Iris. What was I supposed to do? Daddy would have been in trouble.
So you kept quiet this whole time?
Yeah. What do you mean? I couldn't just ask. It would have changed everything.
I don't know, it probably would have been fine. Just walk out to him and give him like, "Hey Dad, did you stab a person in 89? And he would have been like, "No, daughter, no I didn't." And he would have been like, "Okay," and gone out and went to the played jacks at the local soda fountain or whatever you damn kids do these days.
I thought that as long as I stayed quiet, everything would be okay.
Joke's on you, things are never gonna be okay no matter what you do. That's life, baby.
I didn't see a dead body. I wasn't even at the warehouse.
I'm not even here right now. You're hallucinating.
I repeated that to myself over and over and tried to forget the whole thing.
Repressed memories are often the subject of somnia.
That's why Alice showed up during the sync.
Awfully convenient.
The corpse looked exactly like Iris. I couldn't believe she was dead. I just couldn't. So I went to Iris's house.
And found out she was significantly less dead
What's
than
wrong,
advertised.
Iris was alive. I thought I was going crazy. Or dreaming. I tried to convince myself that it was just a hallucination.
Or maybe you were having a dream-like hallucination because you were going crazy. I don't know. Anything's possible. Why were you doing the sassy hands on hips pose just then? That seems, maybe a bit dissonant with what you're talking about.
I actually met with one of the higher-ups at Daddy's company last night.
Yeah, a little known fact, Mitsuki is actually the vice president of Lemniscate. It's a family company.
Before I went to Matsushita Diner,
Why?
because you asked about the cold storage. I was curious. I asked around some, and I found out that Daddy was managing the warehouse before I was born. After my grandpa died, Daddy took over. In exchange for managing the warehouse, he gave ownership of the company to someone else. I guess he didn't want to let this place go. Or maybe he couldn't let it go. That's more accurate, I think.
Man was really attached to that empty building full of long dead forklifts.
But I understand why. Inside that warehouse was...
I mean that too.
Alice.
On paper, Daddy has nothing to do with Okiura Fishery. Daddy was still managing the warehouse. And he was the only one allowed in there, too.
Which kind of defeats the point of a warehouse, but you know. Business people, they're eccentric, they can do whatever the hell they want, nobody's really gonna question it.
That was part of the agreement when he gave up the company. And the whole thing had to be a secret. He really stressed that point.
Hey, Mizuki. How long was he managing the warehouse?
I don't know, I can't count that high.
For 18 years.
That is exactly as long as Iris Sagan has been a person who exists. Convenient.
That's what the man told me.
18 years? From that long ago?
Yes.
Iba, I need an emergency search.
Alright, can you just say look for people who look like Iris who disappeared 18 years ago, or do we need to do actual labor this time?
Missing persons from 18 years ago.
Understood.
That
Dante, I found her.
was easy.
The girl who looks like Iris.
What's her name?
Monica EY, 19 years old at the time of her disappearance. A graduate of Eitoku High School.
What?
My god. She went to school? Who even does that?
Renju was my classmate at Eitoku High.
Alright, come on. Think.
We've known each other for 20 years now.
Think.
When I was young, I lost someone very important to me. Monica Iwai, my best friend. One of the only friends I had.
I don't remember when we had this conversation, actually.
Alice is... Monica.
Just Monica.
Hitomi's friend who went to the same school as her and Renju. But why? Monica's body was found just now. But even back then, Hitomi knew. She knew that Monica was already dead. Iba, where is Hitomi right now?
At headquarters for questioning.
That's convenient.
MPD still believes that the body they discovered was Iris.
Got it. Contact boss. Have them bring Hitomi to Abyss.
Roger that.
Time to ask some questions. Alright, from one exposition dump, we move so we can receive another, no doubt. Woohoo. DuckTales. Woohoo.
You're awfully calm. You saw the corpse of your daughter today. You were called into the station to confirm her identity. And yet here you are, cool as a cucumber. Even though you lost your precious daughter. Shall I guess why?
Gee, I wonder.
Her name is EY Monica. She has been missing for 8. She was 19 years old at the time she went missing. Monica, Hitomi Sagan, and Renju Okiura all attended Eitoku High School.
Alright, let's just flash this in her face.
Because that body isn't Iris. And you know it.
Are you serious?
Yes. Her name is Monica EY. She was killed when she was 19. She went to the same high school as you, and she was your best friend. Isn't that right? Nothing to say for yourself? Hiding something? Maybe you killed her with Renju.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, yes, Data, yes it is. That's just silly.
Oh, now you're talking. But we know Renju committed a crime, illegally disposing of a body. And we can prove it.
Why would Renju be questioned about dumping a body because it was found in a building he owned? Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I had to do something at a drive-thru. I didn't hear anything after Daphne told Iva to do a missing person search. What have we missed? The dead body is Monica EY, who I legitimately do not remember this happening, but apparently is someone we were supposed to already know, who was friends with Renju and Hitomi Sagan back when they were all in the same high school. So now we're talking to her about, you know, why was Renju keeping her body hidden?
The cold storage warehouse where the body was found. It's been managed by Renju Okiura for almost 2 decades now. And witness testimony proves that he knew about the corpse there.
Her name sounds so much familiar. That makes one of us. I legitimately don't remember this at all.
And if I'm not mistaken, you knew about the corpse too, Hitomi. You and Renju have been close since high school. It's not too much of a stretch to think that he told you about the body. And I remember you telling me once.
When I was young, I lost someone very important to me.
So, like, Aiba is inside Date's eyeball and just projecting this information onto his cornea, right? Like, from Hitomi's perspective, didn't Date just go like, yeah, remember you told me once, and they just kind of sat there in silence for a bit?
Monica EY, my best friend. One of the only friends I had.
How did you know that she was dead?
I didn't.
Don't play dumb.
I don't think she's playing Date.
I know you're hiding something. You know what happened 18 years ago. And you knew she was pregnant. You were her best friend. Of course you would have known. Tell me. Tell me everything.
Tell me where the bomb is! Damn it!
Date, she's not going to talk.
Oh boy, I wonder if we're gonna have to do the thing.
Sync with her.
You know, do we actually have to get people's permissions to do this? Like, that's come up before, but it feels like whenever we want, we can just stick
Date,
someone
I'm
on
sure
in there.
I've told you enough times by now, but please, come back within 6 minutes.
Okay, since you asked politely.
I can't promise you that, Pewter.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm not coming back until I find something.
Date, you can't.
I mean, I could.
Why not?
You know why.
Because it will take over my consciousness?
Yes!
But if it's only a little...
No, not even a little. If the sync passes the critical point, the damage will be irreparable.
But what does that mean exactly?
Oh, hey, Peter. You're here too, I guess.
No.
I'm not hiding anything.
That's exactly what I'd expect someone who's hiding something to say.
Then let's try it. Let's experiment with my mind.
That's always the sentence of a person who's sane and healthy.
Then we'll know for sure what'll happen.
Fine. I'll just say it.
Yeah?
Pewter, tell him.
Peter, tell him. Iba, tell him. Date, tell him. Alright. Wait, hold on.
Me?
You know more about it than I do.
Well...
Well... You see, the sync machine is like a series of tubes.
Well, first off, 6 minutes is not a hard limit. It could be 7, or even 8.
Maybe even 9 if we felt like going completely hog wild.
I don't care about the exact time. I'm asking what happens if you go beyond the limit.
And I look at him, and he looks at me.
Do you remember the story I told you about the egg?
Yeah, why?
If you imagine an egg as your consciousness, the yolk is what goes into the subject's brain. The white remains inside your shell. If you go beyond the limit, your yolk will not be able to return to its shell.
Because the subject's mind will start to take over the sinker's consciousness, right? I know that part already.
Indeed, but there's more to it. After the yolk is devoured, the egg white is brought through the machine next.
This is your brain. This is the sync machine. This is your brain and the sync machine. Any questions?
Huh?
And there's more. It's not just the sinker's brain.
It's the brains of everyone in the world. We can combine everyone into a single hive mind. That's the villain's evil plan. I figured it out.
The same process eventually occurs in the subjects as well. In other words, the entire egg ends up being replaced. Mind, consciousness, memory, they are traded, switched.
It feels like a really complicated process to have done accidentally. But also, we have our confirmation now. I feel accomplished. I feel smart. Look at it, so shiny. Packed full of vital proteins and nutrients for all your daily needs.
The human brain has what can be understood as a memory limit. One brain can only hold one consciousness.
Why can't I hold all these consciousnesses?
And it can only contain one person's memories.
Alright, anything else I should know?
Now you know everything.
And knowing is half the battle. Abyss. Da-da-da-da.
Talk to the boss.
Boss.
I was unaware of this as well. This information is not on any accessible databases.
We had to prevent the possibility that the system could be exploited.
Exploited? But
Even if it wasn't you, someone else might try.
I think it's a bit late for that.
We didn't tell any Syncers this, including you. Project Sync is a top-secret project. It's a matter of national security.
We haven't found any practical use purposes for it yet, but you know.
Even Syncers are on a need-to-know basis. Think about it.
Think about it, won't you? Thank you.
What if you were kidnapped by bad people who tried to make you talk?
Bad people?
A criminal organization, spies from another country, those people.
You know. Those people. You can't see it, but I'm doing like air quotes with my fingers. Those people.
If you blabbed about Project Sync, the entire country might be at risk. You heard it from Pewter. The Sync machine isn't just for entering a person's Somnium. It can also be used to swap bodies between two people. Imagine what this machine would be used for in the wrong hands.
Like, say, for instance, the hands of a remorseless serial killer.
That's why I didn't tell you. We can't let this secret get out.
You will give me an egg.
Swapping bodies between two people?
Now, come on, Dante, let those neurons touch. Hold on, has that even happened to this route yet? That we're aware of?
Trading minds?
Because, like, Renju's just been trucking around doing stuff in by himself the whole time. Anyway, we're going in now.
Are you listening to me?
Yeah, I got it.
Alright. Computer. Enhance. I'm never okay,
I'm fine.
Peter. That's my
Start it.
secret.
Understood.
Alright.
Let us begin.
Punch it in! Boop. And Wham. Alright, what are we going to accomplish tonight? Since we're getting into the later sections of the game, I'm kind of hoping we get something that's a fair bit clearer and less liable to be written off as just nonsense and dreams. Is that you, God? It's me, Date.
I am the god of fire.
And I bring you...
I burn erotic books with my flames of red-hot anger.
My, how ruthless.
Ow!
Alright, let's see what the judges think.
Are you okay?
That hurt.
I'll let you read this porno mag if it'll make you feel better.
I will burn it.
The fog is making it pitch black.
Is that how fog works? I always thought fog was highly reflective and shiny.
The light over there. Is that a firefly?
I don't know, probably.
Somnium scan. Activate.
You know, they only had to record one take of that line, and then they could just use it over and 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 over. And over 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 and okay, are we actually starting now? Sinking in the mountain. Reveal Hitomi's secrets, buried deep inside. I have seen the top of the mountain, and you will worship me as though I were a god. Alright, if anybody runs into Slender Man, just remember don't break eye
It
contact.
disappeared?
Until you've gotten to a safe distance away, at least.
No, wait. It might still be nearby.
Alright, we have one thing to work with. Let's work with
Flower
it.
bud. I cannot identify the variety.
It's gonna be a winter iris, I'm calling it now. Alright, what's the plan here?
I cannot identify the type of flower in this state. It appears to be some kind of lily. A
I could have
flower bud.
identified in this state. Maybe you should just try
Worship
harder.
Yeah.
I will pray to it as though I am mourning the dead.
I don't really consider that worship, but I don't know about you all. Bloop.
It bloomed a little?
I don't know what caused it, but it's better than nothing happening.
Boink. Alright, problem solved. Now we just have some rocks. Here's a rock.
A rock.
Yes, it is. Worship the rock.
But it's a rock.
Don't you know that nature is where we draw all the bounties of life from? Praise the rock. All
living
hail
rocks
the
too.
rock. And the pioneers used to drive those babies for miles.
A rather Japanese way of thinking.
Just try it.
If you insist.
Bloop.
How was it? You've cleared your head, right?
Yes. I now feel a sense of emptiness.
Guess it was a waste of time.
I do not want to hear that from you. A rock.
It's not just a boulder. It's a rock. It's
Do
a
what?
Just
rock.
try.
Understood.
Come on, lift with your legs, not with your back. You gotta want it! You gotta want
Find
it!
anything?
No, of course not.
Okay, rock is useless to us. Like most things in life. There's a hole in this tree. That wasn't showing up in the,
I
earlier.
am not going to be eaten or anything, right?
I mean, I'll probably be fine.
Whoa!
Yoink. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
I fell, but I am still in the forest.
It's darker than before.
What? Is someone there?
Hey!
That voice is...
Find out where that voice is coming from.
Gee, I wonder who it is. Nice for the fireflies to lie down a runway for us, though. Jeez, Ranger, where are we? Where's anything? Alright, we're pretty much going in the right direction, I think. There he is.
Renju Okiura.
Nerd. Gonna try talking to him?
Renju, what are you doing in a place like this?
He won't answer.
Not in a place like this, at least. Renju... He looks young, but this is definitely Renju Okiura as he appeared approximately 20 years ago.
You know, when he was young, I'm not sure why I put the butt there.
That's a long time ago.
The game's telling us to shake something. Gotta go back to the hole in the tree again. Hole in
A
tree.
hole in the tree.
Two!
It looks about as big around as a soccer ball.
Gonna be able to fit through this one?
I am not going to be sucked in, am I?
That's strange. Should have worked.
Did you want to see me get sucked in?
Yeah.
So we make
A hole in
progress,
the tree.
champ. Come on. Alright, give it a little shaky
Understood.
shake.
I will do my best.
Bang. That ought to learn ya. These trees have had it too good for
This
too
is-
long. Captain Planet's been making you all soft.
A picture of Hitomi, Renju, and Monica.
Everyone is so young. Hold on to that.
Look at that photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. Okay, there's the rock. Rock the Dwayne Johnson. Right now, I was going the right way the first time. Alright. I love the dark level, it is my favorite. That over there, no, that's Rock 3. The long-awaited sequel to Rock 2. I think a lot of the music's pretty calming, I wouldn't know, I don't know what being calm feels like. One, Rock 2, Rock 3. The hell is Renju? This is not good game design. This is just getting lost. If Rock 2's over there, then Renju should be on. Hereabouts, maybe. Right, if we're facing over here, then there's Renju, there's the bastard.
Renju, look at this.
Look at this photograph.
Wait!
Renju, stop!
Scared him off. Good going, doofus. And now we just gotta go over to, the hole. Alright. When in doubt, look at the hole.
What is this
Knock a few seconds off.
Really?
Did I fucking stutter?
Yeah, go ahead.
Understood.
Burning daylight here.
It's even more difficult to see now. Another
Turn
voice?
out all the lights.
That's Hitomi's voice.
Where is she? Look for her.
She's got a very good mental image of her own voice, considering.
You have less than 2 minutes, Date. Hurry.
We're not gonna make this one. We're not gonna make anything. I don't know why I'm even acting like this is a revelation. We never make Somniums our first go around because that would imply that they aren't just trial and error. Nyum. I just gotta reorient myself over in this direction abouts. God, I would kill a person in real life for an opportunity to reorient this map. Alright, here's the tree.
Another hole.
Those are pretty big.
Alright, punch the tree.
Leave it to me. I will break it down. Huh?
I know, it looks like it came out pretty well, alright.
Date, perhaps we should pursue a more peaceful route.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright, brute force
hole in a
trial and
tree.
error it is.
What is this? A web of some kind?
Not the spiders! Not the spiders!
It would have to be a spider.
Ah! Ah!
I have web on my face. A hole in a tree.
This is a
Got 1
colossal
minute
waste of
left.
your time and mine.
Hitomi! Date likes Hitomi!
Hey, what are you trying to say? Hitomi won't remember this sink. But still.
Hitomi stopped.
Stop! Wait a minute. Alright, now where in God's name is she? That doesn't help me. Doesn't help me at all. What the fuck is that? Rock 3, so from there, we are facing almost exactly the opposite direction. So we want to go somewhere hereabouts. Yes, there's rock number 1. Okay, we don't want to be going this way.
Date, you've got less than 30 seconds.
And I know. Give me a minute. And the sad thing is, I'm sure someone on the dev team actually thought this puzzle was really clever.
That's Hitomi? I see.
Well,
She dresses modestly, but
good work, Aiba.
Shut up.
that's Hitomi.
Tommy's teen outfit, emphasis mine.
Where?
Well, you could, you know,
But in this Somnium,
her stomach.
if you...
Bloop.
I touched it.
So, what's the softness?
It was soft. Nice and...
Valuable information.
You... That's Hitomi. Hitomi Sagan. Like Renju, this must have been approximately 20 years ago.
Okay.
Something must have happened around that time.
Date, we can't! Time is up!
Damn it! Is it over?
Somniums are a bad idea. This is just heinously unfun, I'm sorry. Alright, maybe if we brute force it from earlier. Right, which way? Was it to the hole in the tree? I don't think that's it. Even if it were. Game, for God's sake, just let me move to things. Why is this so difficult for you? Here, yes, thank you. We peek inside this one.
I cannot see anything.
They will not let us skip this, even though they know we've read it already. I'm gonna stick inside of it. God damn it.
What?
It's darker than before.
What? That...
Find out.
No respect for my time whatsoever.
5 minutes left, Date.
Which one of these is furthest away? That's the itch. Still going in broadly the right direction, I think. There's the hole in the tree. We gotta punch this one.
a hole in the tree.
Yep. I saw it.
This
This game doesn't have enough processing power to show two things moving at once, so we did have to sit through that. Watching it flutter all the way down to the ground. Alright,
Renju.
show him the photo.
Renju.
Get out.
Wait.
Get out of my sight. Alright. Let's move on with our
4
lives.
minutes.
Hole 1. Hole in 1. Is that the hole? I don't think so. There's hole.
What is this?
Get in there.
Yeah.
Yoink. Come on, stick the landing. You know what you're doing.
Another voice. That's it.
Where is?
Alright. Hole in the tree. It's still really far away. Get off of there. Why is there a path back here if it's not even wide enough for one person to go through?
Three minutes, Date.
Move, all of you. Yes, look at it, thank
Those
you.
are pretty big.
Scream as I would like to do every time we stream this.
Hitomi.
Now for some reason we have to talk to her this time. Even though we've already established that that's not a thing that works. But we gotta move in the exact opposite direction from hole in tree. About here somewhere? There she is.
That's Hitomi. Hitomi, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Guess she can't hear you. She looks like she's looking for something.
Oh boy. Time to blindly guess which of the rocks we're looking for. Rock 2, Electric Boogaloo.
You have less than 2 minutes, Date. Hurry.
Rock 1? We've already looked at
rock.
Rock 1. Gameplay. Come on. Is this? Just the ability to set waypoints, the ability to rotate the map so it's facing the way you're facing, literally anything that makes this an actual puzzle and not just wandering in the darkness simulator. Alright, we want to go a bit to the right of the direction towards Hole in Tree 3. Out here somewhere. Don't even know why I'm assuming this is the rock we're looking for. Just kind of seemed like a good enough guess. It's decently tiny.
A rock.
We investigate the rock.
This is a simple.
But.
Is there any kind of pattern?
No, there does not appear to be. A rock.
Okay. Well, if there's no pattern, then I don't
A
know
rock.
what you expect from me.
Do what?
Just try.
Alright, Rock
No.
2, Electric Boogaloo? Or is it all the way back on number 1, but we just didn't
have 1 minute
get it
left.
before then? Because, again, rewarding investigation is a thing mystery games do. You know?
A rock.
May as well check.
This is a simple.
Is there any kind of pattern?
No.
Alright, that's the same shit as last time. Alright, so Rock 2 is more to the right
Dante, you've got
than
less
it
than 30
is.
seconds.
There's Rock 2. That's Rock 3. We're here a bit somewhere.
Time's
Here's Rock
up.
1. How do we keep passing it? And we're not even gonna reach it before the time limit runs.
A
It
rock.
was right next to her. I hate this.
This is a.
Is there any kind of pattern?
No.
Gee, thanks a lot, team.
Date. Wait.
Damn it!
Four minutes.
4 minutes is all I have to play with you. Alright, where did we leave off? Hole. Yep. Can't believe this route's so boring we can't even, like, get any whole jokes out of Date. That's just pathetic. I mean, that's really embarrassing.
Yeah,
Why do you include a text skip feature if it doesn't unlock during the only part of the game I ever think, man, I wish I could use the text skip feature?
Another? That's
where is...
Okay. At least I'm entertained watching you run around in the dark. Nana, you are entertained by literally everything. I think it might actually be a problem. You have got to get some standards. This is... You're making your parents very nervous. I'm getting further away from it. Like, I don't mean to judge, Nana, but you have the lowest standards for entertainment of anybody I know, by far.
3 minutes, Date.
Okay, this entire run is a bust. We can already see that. Scram.
Hito dot
Hey, it told...
Make her
Hito
stop.
a hole in it.
We gotta get okay, now we gotta get something out of the hole. Okay. So rocks
A
are just a
cord
big
bracelet.
waste of your time and mine. That's what I'm getting from here. Alright, there's two things close together over there. One of them's probably Hitome.
That's Hito.
Alright, Hitome, take this object. Let
Do
me
you remember
leave.
this? Wait!
Follow her!
On it!
The game's saying we're shaking these people, but the way the actual framing is, it looks more like they're just kinda getting bored and wandering off. Which, to be fair, is what I would do in this game. Alright, which way is Rock 2? It should be close to us. Okay, we gotta go past here.
You have less than 2 minutes, Date. Hurry.
What are you doing? Okay, I think going off the Firefly path just teleports around us arbitrarily. Because I cannot make the actual movements we're making here make anything resembling sense. There's Rock 2, there's Rock 1, there's Hole 2. Hole 2.
A large
Revenge of the
hole.
Hole. Get in there.
If the...
Turn off those lights.
Date, what is going on?
I don't know, it's pitch black. I can't see anything.
I see. Then it is not me malfunctioning.
Can you feel your way around?
I can try.
Right. There's a cluster amaryllis in here somewhere. Alright, there it is. Okay, come on. Come on, pick it up, pick it up. Got places to be and things to do.
A Lycaris flower.
Touch it.
I feel a little awkward, but...
Okay, that was a waste of your
It's
time
useless.
and
The roots
mine.
must be strong. A Lycaris.
You have 1 minute left.
We just gotta pray to all the flowers we see? Is that how this works?
Nothing.
That's to be expected.
A Lycaris.
We dig it up?
Let's do.
Screw you, the flowers. Fuck you, the natural world.
Another hole?
You just gotta
A
pray to the
large
flowers, and sometimes it's a waste of your time and mine.
We've come this far.
Please just turn out the lights completely. Please be the end of the Somnium. I have nothing else to do here. I think that was it, oh thank God. If I had to spend any more time down here, I was going to pop a blood vessel. Yep, she sure was in a hole. Not like buried or anything, but you know. Oh god, we're still gonna have to do one more of these on the last route at minimum, and I do not look forward to that at all. Okay. Can this be over soon?
Hitomi, I
That's
think
her
I know
name.
what happened 18 years ago. You three were close. You, Monica, and Renju. Monica was murdered. You and Renju found the body in the mountains. And you brought it back to the cold storage warehouse.
For some reason.
And my guess is So Sejima killed Monica. I've seen inside his head before, using this machine.
Turns out he was the man behind the slaughter the whole time. Significantly less British than the voice acting would have you believe.
I see. If you know that much, then there's no point in hiding it anymore. I'll tell you the truth.
What an unnecessary complication. We could have just told her we knew it was so. That is not information we got from the Somnium. Alright, 18 years ago. Yep, that sure was 3 people.
Wait, you're going to see So?
Yes. I want to talk to him in person.
Yeah, licorice flowers, yeah, the Hikenbon, I know. I do be knowing I've seen an anime before.
No, you can't.
Why not?
Fuck you, I do what I want. You and your jaunty little off-kilter beret.
Are you worried about my body? You don't have to worry about that. I'm totally fine.
But your stomach is still...
Oh, my doctor told me that's normal. Your stomach doesn't go down right away after giving birth.
I'm not worried about your body. I don't know how to explain it.
You know, So Sejima's obviously a criminal.
So doesn't care about you.
That was my favorite
And
flower. I don't
especially
remember
not
if I
your
told you.
child.
I don't think you've told me that, no.
I haven't told him about giving birth. He contacted me for the first time in a while.
So that's why.
He wants to know about the baby.
He must be panicking.
The baby.
If anyone ever finds
Or
out his
possibly
mistress had his baby,
Dababy.
his political career would be over.
Well, there you have it.
It's not like it was an affair.
His wife passed away after giving birth to his son, right?
It would still be a big scandal.
You are a teenager, in case you've forgotten.
He impregnated a girl who just graduated high school. Don't you see how that looks? He knew how the public would take it. That's why he gave you the money to deal with it. There's no way he'll accept that child.
It's okay. I told him that I won't cause any trouble.
Oh, well, if you just politely explain everything to the evil politician murderer, I'm sure he'll understand.
But could you take care of the baby? Just for a little bit? I'll be right back.
Fine. But take this with you, just in case. It's a GPS transmitter. Just to be extra safe.
Man,
I
they're just
really
handing
don't
those
think I'll
things.
need it.
They're just handing those things out like candy
But okay,
nowadays.
if it'll make you feel better.
I don't know what Monica saw in So. She said he was kind and loyal, that he wanted to change Japan.
You know, he believed in legalizing gambling. Only good people believe in that.
But I didn't understand any of it. He tried to convince her to break up with him so many times. She never listened. And it ended in tragedy. What happened next, you already know. Neither Renju or I saw it happen. So I don't know how much of this is accurate. But we could guess what happened.
Yum 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 yum, Mr. Rogers. Bloop. She was missing an eye. It would make more sense if Tsujima Jr., who I'm still operating under the assumption was the Cyclops killer.
Renju told me.
Was the one who did it.
But you said he wasn't there.
He heard some of this from the Kumakuras.
Mitsu? Nana?
Renju had connections with them.
Yeah, I think it's Date or
How did the Kumakuras know?
Date V1.0.
So told them. Date, you said that Monica was killed by So, right? But that's not true. Monica was killed by Saito Tsujima.
Oh my god, the game's called I and the main antagonist is named Saito. I hate everything. I hate every moment of life that led me up to this moment. Jesus, no wonder they were being so cagey about his name.
The son of So and his late wife.
Criminy. You have a name, yeah, and what a name it is.
Saito was 12 at the time.
That's a fun age.
12?
Yes.
But why would a little boy do that?
I don't know. I can't imagine. So contacted his friend, the chairman of the Kumakuras. He asked him to dispose of the body and left the scene with Saito.
The incident was 18 years ago. That means the chairman was Rohan, not Moma.
Yes, Iba, I can do double-digit addition, thank you.
Rohan went to the scene of the crime?
Yes, with some of his men. Again, neither Renju or I saw this.
How'd you know about the parts you weren't there for?
We were just waiting at my house for Monica to return. But she never came back. We tried to call her cell, but it didn't connect. But then, we saw movement on the GPS.
The GPS Renju gave to Monica?
Yes. At first, we thought she was on her way home.
That would have been too easy, wouldn't it?
But we saw the GPS getting further and further away from the city. Renju and I got nervous, and we decided to follow it.
What about the baby?
We couldn't take the baby with us, so Renju gave the baby to the mob doctor he trusted.
Can't believe Ace said's a mafia baby the whole time. Just little baby smoking a cigarette going, "Hey, you talking to me? Hey, you talking to me? I had to make you sleep with the fishes like Big Tony the Tongue. A goo goo. A goo goo gaga."
Those are Kumakura men.
We didn't dare move. We couldn't speak. We were barely breathing. We could only watch as it all unfolded. I knew what the hole was for, but I couldn't move. Couldn't do anything.
That hole, it was made for her.
I remember my heart beating so fast.
Just so fast, mile a minute.
We good here?
Yeah. Cover her.
Cover me, I'm going in!
Just a minute.
Okay, you knew this bit the whole time, you just didn't see fit to tell anybody.
Beautiful.
What are you looking at?
The Kumakura people covered Monica's body, then left. Renju and I ran over and dug up the grave with a tree branch. What we saw.
You dug it up really thoroughly for not having any tools. That was some hard work there.
Monica! Monica!
Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. You hear her crying? How sensitive.
We need to call the police.
No, we can't. Not yet.
Why not?
You don't know who those guys are. They would do anything to keep this hidden. I've seen it happen myself. I know what they're capable of. Anyway, think about it. Why would they do this? They thought Monica and her baby were going to be trouble. Monica's stomach was still pretty big. I don't think they know that she gave birth already. What do you think they'd do if they found out? They would take her and kill her too. And then, they'd come for us. They'd make it look like we disappeared. All of us would be gone.
And the Yakuza are a real ruthless, evil organization. Except Moma. Moma's totally trustworthy, totally good person. Don't think too hard about it.
Renju convinced me. He knew more about the dirty underbelly of society than anyone.
It's really washed down there more often.
He knew when something couldn't be handled by the police. He said that they would do anything to kill the child. And I believed him. We had to protect Monica's baby.
The baby, the baby, the baby, the
had
baby,
to.
the baby, the baby, the baby,
No
the
matter
baby.
what. Okay, I understand. I decided to trust him.
I like how the, teenage voices are just the normal voice actors, but they're pitching their voices up really high to show that they're younger. Because, you know, every 19 and 20-year-old you've ever met had a voice that was way up here. Scraping against the ceiling, making everybody's ears bleed, right? Right.
We couldn't leave Monica's body in the forest. We cleaned her up and took her to the cold storage warehouse.
And then we just kind of shoved her in the fridge and left her there.
This warehouse is owned by Okiura Fishery. My father runs it. But it's not in use right now.
I mean, I've always said I bitch as fuck. Yeah, Nana, you don't count.
They're moving operations to a better
Your
area.
voice hasn't changed. That's the
They're
bit
actually
I'm
looking
getting
for
at.
buyers right now. But don't worry. I'll take over the warehouse.
Are you sure?
Yes. Don't worry. I'll keep everyone out. Everyone but you, of course. I'll give you a key. You can come visit anytime you want to see Monica.
You know, anytime you want to come by and just shoot the breeze with this dead person.
Monica, don't worry about the baby. I'll protect her no matter what. And don't worry about them either.
You know, them.
The people who did this to you, I will never forgive them.
Not gonna, do anything with this information, but I'll definitely think really hard about what bad people they are every day.
I'm sorry, Monica. Sorry. I'm sorry. Monica.
Click. Alright, where do we go from there? Onto the sofa? Gee, I
I was
wonder.
thinking about her name. How about Iris?
Gasp.
Iris?
The goddess of rainbows in Greek mythology? And the colored part of her eye.
And the flower, too.
Right.
I thought it might have something to do with your name, Hitomi.
Not only that, it's also for Monica's name. The kanji for Monica uses the character for love. And Monica reminds me of Manako, Japanese for eye.
So both names have something to do with the eye.
Man, that's a convoluted name.
And I, which means love, will always be a part of Iris.
So that's how you came up with the name?
Don't you think it's nice?
Bit of a convoluted multi-layered Japanese pun. Because this game was actually written by Rumiko Takahashi this whole time.
Iris. Yeah, I really like it. I don't really want to discuss this, but there's something you need to know. After talking to the Kumakura gang, I found out who killed Monica. So's son, Saito Sejima.
He's only 12, we could totally just punt him in the head right now. Nobody could stop us.
How? Saito was only...
12 years old.
Why? Why would a little boy do that?
I don't know, sometimes you just get to that age, you know?
Don't know the motive, but I know it's true. So used his connections with the Kumakuras to cover up for his son. And all of the evidence of this scandal, of course.
I'll never forgive them. So, his son, or the Kumakuras.
Again, not gonna do anything, but you know what? Just gonna feel
feel
real
the same
strongly
way.
about it.
But you can't think about revenge now. You and the baby can't lead a life like that. Just bear with it for now. The opportunity will come. So wait until the right moment. Okay?
Okay.
The mob doctor took care of everything. I have the birth certificate, and I even picked up a mother and baby book. It wasn't cheap, but you don't have to worry about it. Just submit the birth certificate, and everything will be taken care of. You look worried.
Can't imagine why. Life's been going so well for you lately.
I feel like I'm somehow betraying Monica. She was the one who gave birth.
Soon, you won't even be able to think about that.
You know, motherhood, the magical thing, it makes your brain turn off. Trust me, this is definitely real.
Because a war is about to begin.
This is war. It's where the strong
War?
protect the weak.
Between you and the baby.
Yeah. And you need to win. You need to kick that baby's ass. Show that baby what for.
You won't get a good night's sleep for a long time. You might even start to resent Monica for all this.
Yeah. Parenthood.
Really?
Really for real.
Anyway, as soon as you submit the certificate, you will officially be her mother.
For the eyes of God and man.
Be sure to raise her responsibly. I'll help. Occasionally.
Only occasionally, though.
Occasionally, huh?
Only occasionally.
And so my life with Iris began.
Occasionally.
Raising a child was much harder than I expected. Waking up in the middle of the night to change diapers or feed her. Iris wasn't a good sleeper. I had to sing her lullabies to put her to sleep. And I always needed to put her to bed so carefully. It would only take 10 seconds before she'd start crying again.
Oh, children. So me feels like if I missed anything in this conversation, not really. Everything is pretty, predictable at this point. Hitomi adopted Iris, decided to call her
I had to
Iris.
pick her up, sing her another lullaby, then put her back to bed. After doing this over and over,
Lift our head back.
Before I
Damn, we
knew
were
it,
this
the morning
close to
sun
getting through a
creeping
stream
through the
without
windows.
this. But I guess
Even
my
with all
suffering will
that,
never end.
I cherished every single day. My hatred for those responsible never went away. But my hands were full, raising Iris. I devoted myself to her. I never thought about anything else. Eventually, my desire for revenge just faded away.
Yeah, can I get a woof woof if you're my dogs?
Mama, I'm wet. I'm wet. Sweepy, up?
These
Mommy,
eat
I won race today.
me.
Is Mommy proud of me? Mommy, I want to see Milky Moon again. Mommy, you were so good at dancing! Mommy, pancakes are done! Sorry, I burned it a little. Mommy, why can't I dance at the stores? I can't help it! My body dances on its own! Mommy, don't more people come to barbecues? How come it's always you and me?
Giant
Hey,
barbecues.
Mommy, how long will it take my bone to get better? I want to dance again with everybody. Hey, Mommy, do you like my shirt? Look, we're matching!
Yeah, I can't.
Mommy,
I get.
thank you for everything!
I get it, game. You're kind of milking it a bit.
I love you more than anything in the whole wide world!
And then she got brain cancer.
Mommy, look! I drew it!
The Okonomiyaki War, huh?
Yeah. The Okonomiyaki War. Thousands of people who will never see their parents again.
That was so fun! We should do it again!
If people with children, this would hit them in the feels so hard. I don't know. I've known people with children. And I have the scars to prove it.
The food or the food fight?
Both!
I'm gonna have to say no to the latter, sweetie. It took forever to clean.
But Uncle said he wants to do it again too! Hey, Mommy.
Yes?
Are you gonna marry him?
What are you talking about?
As long as it's Uncle, I'm all for it! I say go for it!
I would always question myself. Could I keep living a lie? I had promised Monica that I would avenge her. But I couldn't work up the courage. And maybe Renju was exaggerating, but there's no statute of limitations for murder in Japan.
There's no statute of limitations for murder. Well, why the fuck
If we
not?
showed Monica's body to the police, so would be punished by the law. And the Tsujima's and Kumakura's crimes would be uncovered. But that would mean Iris's secret would be uncovered as well. That's what I was really worried about. I didn't want Iris to know that So was her father. And even more than that, I didn't want her to know that I'm not her real mother.
Literally had an assassin boyfriend, you could just him take out everything. True. Good point, Nana.
That's the real reason I've been silent for 18 years. I didn't want to lose Iris. But
He told me everyone I know has a big butt. Just weighing them down. Practically
Fate
dragging
can be
by
cruel.
them.
God used other means to take Iris from me. In January, Iris suddenly collapsed. It was caused by a malignant tumor in her brain.
So I've heard.
There's nothing we can do. She only has a year to live at most. That's what the doctor said. If you remember me telling you.
I know, I was there at the time.
But what I didn't tell you is that there was an experimental new treatment. It was...
We need to destroy the
Some
tumor
of the
with
cutting-edge nanomachines
lasers.
can even go inside your body and cure illnesses.
Or that.
They can even cure cancer. And they go beep, beep, beep. That's what Mom said.
Beep beep, I'm a nanomachine. Beep beep, I'm a medicine.
nanomachines.
Nanomachines.
Nanomachines could remove the tumor. But the procedure would be so expensive. With my salary, it wasn't something I could afford. I thought hard about it. About how I could get my hands on that kind of money. But I couldn't think of a solution. Time passed.
Before I knew it, it was November. Iris's symptoms worsened. Her time was running out. I was starting to panic. I couldn't sit here and waste time while Iris...
I mean, you could. Nothing's stopping you.
In any case, I had to get the money before it was too late. So I thought of a plan.
Alright. We need to steal the Declaration of Independence. Or maybe just rob a bank, that's also an option.
A plan to blackmail Sosajima.
Cause it worked out so well the last time, didn't it? Didn't it, champ? Nothing bad ever happens to Iris's family.
Two days ago, on Saturday night, I called So and invited him to come to the warehouse. He agreed to come, after I hinted at what happened 18 years ago. I had prepared everything, hiding behind the forklift until So came.
She tried to ambush him from a forklift. Huzzah.
When he finally arrived, he walked over to the workbench, where I had laid Monica's body. He lifted the cloth and looked down.
Yes.
He whimpered and stumbled back. Even he was phased, seeing a body he thought he got rid of 18 years ago.
When she says he whimpered, I'm just imagining So turning into a sad dog, going, Yeah, that noise dogs make.
A woman he was in a relationship with. A woman his own son killed. He reacted exactly as I expected he would.
With dog noises?
I had prepared a recording and sent it to his phone.
That is a cheap-sounding phone motor.
I know what happened 18 years ago. Everything.
You would think that a sitting senator motivated primarily by greed would have a more expensive phone.
And I know she had a baby inside her. You can probably guess what I'm going to say next. Be prepared to pay for my silence. I will tell you the exact amount later. And don't tell anyone about this. Not Saito, not the Kumakuras. If you do anything even remotely suspect, I will go to the press with the truth. Understand?
I told him to keep quiet and cut ties with the Kumakuras. Even if he found out who I was, without the Kumakura gang, he had no power over me.
Of course, he would have just kindly acquiesced to your request, and not sent the hit squad after you.
And there's no way he'd risk his political career. Not to go after me. I saw So put his phone back into his pocket and run out of the warehouse. I came out of my hiding place to put Monica's body back. But then, something unexpected happened.
It's me, I'm something unexpected.
I saw you, Date. I hid behind the forklift before you saw me. And when you were done looking around...
It can't be.
Oh. Is this your card?
Iris.
Yep, that sure is a thing that happened. I was losing consciousness. My head felt fuzzy. I couldn't gather my thoughts. I didn't know what to say. Instead, Iva did the talking.
Iris is not Hitomi's daughter.
Yes, I know, I just heard all that.
But Iris's father is Sosajima. Her mother, Monica Iwai, was killed 18 years ago by So's son, Saito. However, Hitomi raised Iris since she was a baby. Hitomi showed unwavering love and compassion for her, just as much as her biological mother would have, if not more.
Yeah, Monica doesn't strike me as the type of person who really thought much about her relationships with anyone.
Iris's tumor was discovered in January of this year. The only possible treatment was experimental nanotechnology.
Nanomachines.
However, that treatment is restrictively expensive.
The for-profit healthcare system. Truly our nation's greatest accomplishment.
Hitomi devised a plan to blackmail Sosajima for the money. The best way to establish the blackmail was to show him proof directly. That is why Hitomi created the scene with the corpse. She was the one who called So to the warehouse. On Sunday night, what Date saw was what Hitomi had prepared for So. That is the summary of what we have learned so far.
Everybody got that? Good.
But there are some things I have yet to understand. Date, pull yourself together. Ask her questions.
Use your words, Date.
Date, snap out of it.
I heard Iba call for me and came too.
I probably don't have to ask, but let me just be sure. After I left the warehouse, what did you do?
I put Monica's body back onto the hood of the forklift. Then I left.
We were so distracted we didn't even see her.
Makes sense.
That's why the police didn't see the body when they arrived on the scene.
Because someone had moved it a few feet in the same room.
It makes perfect sense now that I have the facts. Iris did not resurrect. You simply mistook Monica for Iris.
They had the same stock facial model, so you can understand the confusion.
The body did not disappear. Hitomi moved it. Those were the events at the warehouse Sunday night. Simple.
Alright. We know why Rohan had his thing with the eyes, and I doubt she would have told Renju about blackmailing, so we're on the clock.
But I believe I understand what occurred 18
Let's
years ago.
get on with it.
However, none of this ties directly back to Shoko Nadami. Her murder was just 4 days ago. Is it connected? Or are these two separate cases?
If there is a connection, it would be with Renju and So.
And probably the culprit, let's not forget.
We can think about it later. More importantly,
Bloop. Bloop. I headed for the exit.
Wait,
Hold on a minute.
where are you going?
I'm not sure
to
yet.
look for Iris, of course.
But you have no idea where she is, right?
Do you know something?
You know, this is your daughter on the line here. I'm not gonna be held responsible if anything goes wrong.
Yes.
Gee, thanks for all your help thus far.
At around 4 o'clock today, I received a phone call. I don't know who it was. They were using a voice modulator.
What did they say?
I have your daughter. Don't call the police or she dies. That's why I didn't tell you earlier.
Renju.
We don't know that for certain.
It seems pretty likely, though.
It could be number 89.
Either way, Iris is in danger right now.
The voice asked for something else.
Was it $1 million? Is he gonna hold the world ransom for $1 million?
He told me to go to a specified location with you.
Okay.
With me?
Yes.
The culprit knows me? It must be Renju. What location?
What region?
I'm sorry, but this stops now.
Hi, Peter. Can we not do this now? I'm kind of in the middle of something.
Date, run.
Oomph.
Boss!
Please, do not worry. I merely put her to sleep.
What are you doing?
I do believe that's the worm.
My orders! They told us to halt our investigation. The boss was already going against orders as it is. Which is why...
Investigation? What investigation? Shoko or Iris?
Neither. The investigation of Monika's murder.
Monika? But her case is all but completely solved.
Yes, but only to us, right?
That's a very interesting face you're making. You look like you're high. Pewter, have you been hitting the reefer? Have you been smoking the devil's lettuce?
If we say nothing, then her investigation is ongoing.
So Tsushima. So threatened us, didn't he?
I don't know. But you've been stripped of your authority on this investigation. As of 5 minutes ago.
That's why I need to shoot you. Not being a cop is illegal, punishable by immediate execution.
In fact, you are to be placed under house arrest. What will you do, Date? I suggest you comply.
Iva, can you turn the power off?
Easily.
Alright, get ready. 3, 2, 1.
Pew. That was easy. How's
Tell
he
me.
going to hold other men with a broken arm, Date? What have you done?
Where is the location?
Upstate New York.
I can't tell you.
Why not?
If I told you, you'd go alone, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
But if I don't go with you...
Alright, take me there.
Alright, Mr. Murderer. Let's go have us a confrontation. Saito in Renju's body at number 89. We should assume they're both gonna be there. Man, there's a lot of abandoned buildings in this city. Good lord, what has the economy been doing?
I know this place.
It's the chemical plant that closed 8 years ago.
I knew that. How did I know that? Corners of my mind were aching.
Date, I'm sorry, but this is going to be bad.
What happened?
Someone has begun to access my stored memory.
Hacking!
They are attempting to wipe all the data.
They're infiltrating the files! They're stealing the internet!
Everything I have accumulated over the last 5 years, including backups.
That's no good.
Pewter. Is Pewter doing this?
Almost definitely. He does have admin rights. I summoned some ice, but that will only buy time.
Gotta put a deep freeze on this situation.
After my ice is melted, Peter will be able to access logic, my core programming.
Can you speak up? The music's kinda drowning you out.
Be able to destroy my mind.
Why?
It must be related to the orders they are receiving from the top. The higher-ups clearly see you as a threat, Dante. They are attempting to limit your power by removing you from the equation.
I finally realized how OP you are, Iva. Please nerf.
I suppose their motivation hardly matters now. The most important thing now is finding Iris and bringing her to Abyss within 4 hours. Or else, I will cease to exist.
Donadape is completely useless that eye, but yes, he most definitely is. Bonk.
Date? What's wrong?
Nothing. Just...
Having some trouble with one of my eyes, it happens sometimes.
All right, now you know.
And knowing's
So
half
get
battle.
moving. I'm counting on you, Date.
4 hours. It's fine, that should be plenty of time. I gripped my evolver and I got moving. Alright, good man. What are you up to?
I'll go in first. You wait here.
Okay.
Alright. This is unrealistic. If Date were an actual cop, he wouldn't have opened the door slowly. He would have just kicked it in and screamed, "Freeze! This is the police! Get down on the ground!" And then started shooting immediately.
Is that...
A Fruit Loop? Well... Oh man, he's been dead for a while. Skin's all dry. Poor bastard. This is why we moisturize. The case remains unsolved. Would you like to save? I would absolutely like to save. Date then proceeded to immediately walk into a trap. Be the true... Yeah. Is this info on that other route we need first? I'm not convinced there is, but I believe the game would disagree with me on that call. Where even did this leave us off? Date saw Hitomi in 89 Somnium. Purico Date that Tsujima was dead. Same killer. Found a video of Boss being the one to murder. Right. Yeah, I remember now. Well, I think I know what we're going to be filling Sunday's stream with. But you know what? We're never gonna have to do that Darkness Somnium again, and that's really the limit of what I wanted to ask from life. Well, thank you for coming in today. I can practically see the light at the end of this tunnel. I was just thinking, right, yeah. The info we got today. Yeah, and like, nobody is dead on this branch except Shoko and Renju. I guess that's the closest we're going to be getting to a happy ending. Most likely, most probably. So, until then... all of you, be sure to take care of yourselves. Until the next time we meet, I would hate for your corpse to be the next one to wind up on my slab. We will pick up on this game later, and I will see all of you then. And hopefully before then... Considering who's in chat right now, I'm pretty sure before then. Until then, fare thee well. Bye-bye.